breathe in me. Down the boulevard of desire.
Alrighty guys, wanted to talk to you about our experience at the party at Superfrico in the Cosmopolitan. Now I did want to film initially in there, but I will say it was very, very loud, lots of stuff going on, so I decided to do it this way instead. Hope you guys like that. Let me know what you think after you watch down below. So essentially I just took some shots of the show, the food, this and that, and I'm going to explain to you now where it's a little bit more of a controlled environment and a little less loud. So the party is the latest from the crew at Spiegelworld. So if you've been following the channel, you know that we are big Spiegelworld fans, seen I think all of their shows multiple times. Think Absinthe, Atomic Saloon, Disco Show, previously Opium, which actually used to take place in the Cosmopolitan in Superfrico. So I guess this is sort of like a replacement of that show. So it takes place in like a separate room inside Superfrico. There's like a very small intimate area. I think it only fits maybe about 50 or so people. There's a small stage in there. You've got the bar, etc. You can still actually dine in Superfrico and not do the party. It's sort of like a separate area, so just keep that in mind. Now, this is the kind of thing you do need to make reservations in advance. We made our reservations maybe about a month or so in advance. I did just take a quick look. It looks like they are, there are some days that are sold out. So just keep in mind, if this is something you really want to do, I strongly recommend booking it in advance just to make sure you do not miss the opportunity. When you make the reservation, you do pay in full, and that includes the tax and an 18% gratuity. So I will tell you, for two of us to go, it was $150 each. So obviously $300 plus tax and tip, ended up being about $380. Now I will get into the end whether I thought it was worth it and all that stuff. So make sure you stay tuned. Now, this $150 does include a welcome drink, a 3-course meal, and of course the show. On the reservation itself, it actually says it runs from 7 to 8:30. We got there a little bit before that. They do recommend you get there a little bit earlier. That way you can check in, and then you will be brought into a little area with the host who's going to give you, as I mentioned earlier, a complimentary glass of, we had sparkling rosé. And of course, you kind of hang out in this small room where they have sort of relics of shows past, like Opium, and some of the other things that Spiegelworld has used as like props in the past. So you may see some other things that you recognize if you have checked out a Spiegelworld show before. I will say it also, I believe, ran later than 8:30. It does say 8:30 on the reservation, but I'm pretty confident that we didn't get out of there till like well after 9. Once you are in that little room though, you will be brought to your table. Once you're at your table, you will have your server come to you, and they will offer additional beverages, which are not included in the price of admission. So any drink you get after that, keep in mind you're going to be paying for it. And that's going to be one of my gripes I will say about this, is cocktails are not cheap. Cocktails are on average about $25 a piece. That can add up real quick. I will say though, their cocktails are delicious. Anytime I've had a drink from there before, I've always enjoyed it. There's usually very little cocktail, a lot of ice, so you really do need to sip and savor it because it will go down very quickly. This time around, I wanted, of course, something tequila based, so I did get Here Comes the Sun. That included El Tequilino Reposado, Spicy Aperol, Orgeat, Cherry Hearing, Passion Fruit, and Pineapple. As mentioned, this was really, really delicious. Went down very easy, but again, I did try to savor it knowing it was $25. Cody ordered the Bossa Hova. This was Tito's vodka, honeydew, pineapple, strega, cucumber water, and bay leaf. Again, very, very delicious. I do find that with Superfrico and a lot of the Spiegelworld type restaurants, they will kind of experiment with sort of that sweet and savory. So you get the things like pineapple and the sort of like sweet, fruity kind of flavors, as well as something like a bay leaf to kind of balance it all out. They will also bring you some bread with this really, really delicious like oil with like I think it was some kind of a garlic or sun-dried tomato in the oil itself. It's really, really tasty, with some shaved Parmesan on top, which was nice, as well as some olives. And the olives were warm, really delicious. Really enjoyed that as a kind of just to prep the palate for the rest of the meal. Now at this point in time, you do order all of your 3 courses at once, and you do have a menu set in advance. This is subject to change, so keep that in mind, but this is at least what we had, and this is what I've seen for the last little while since the show's opened in July. So keep in mind, as I said, it could change, but this is what we had on the offering. For the beginnings, you had tuna tartare or a little gem salad, basically. You could also add on oishi oysters for another $48, or mini lobster roll tacos for another $28. We both opted for the tuna tartare, which I have to say was delicious. It was cured big eye tuna with truffle lime vinaigrette, everything spiced, and puff crackers. Honestly, probably one of the better tuna tartares I've had in a while. The tuna itself was cut very fine, very small chunks of it. Just really tasty. Just really enjoyed it. Didn't have any nasty fatty pieces or anything like that. It was just really tasty. Really enjoyed it. For the mains, you can either order Creekstone Farms Petit Filet, Branzino Piccata, Seared Mushroom Gnocchi, or you can upgrade to the Australian Wagyu rib cap for an additional $25. Cody ordered the Petit Filet, which included 6-ounce prime filet, whipped potatoes, roasted bone marrow sauce. I got the seared mushroom gnocchi, which had cultured butter, smoked egg yolk, black truffle, and mushroom conserva. I obviously didn't eat the steak. Cody seemed to really enjoy it, though. It was like a nice little piece of meat with some potatoes. I did try a little bit of the potatoes. They were really good. Cody actually said he wants to learn the recipe of that one. It was very whipped, very smooth potatoes. My gnocchi was delicious. Very truffle forward, very mushroomy in the terms of the flavor. Not a lot of mushrooms actually in the dish, I noticed, but a lot of gnocchi. It was a hefty amount. And to be honest with you, I did get to the point toward the end where I was kind of getting a little bit fatigued of the flavor and the actual, I guess, texture of the gnocchi. But still really enjoyed it. I would say maybe in future, it would have been nice to have had that with something. Maybe that would have been a good side with something, but I would still definitely order it again. Really tasty, really enjoyed it. For the dessert, you do have 2 options. You have the tiramisu and a seasonal gelato. Cody opted for the tiramisu, which has obviously coffee, mascarpone, and white chocolate. I opted for the seasonal gelato just to have a little bit of something different, and it was a stracciatella flavor. So it was sort of like a vanilla kind of base with chunks of a dark chocolate inside. It was really good, really refreshing after eating that, a good palate cleanser. Yeah, all in all, just it was a really good meal. I was definitely full. I was satisfied. I think Cody was maybe a little bit peckish afterwards, but for me at least, I was good. Throughout the show, the server will be coming around as well, so you can order additional drinks. Cody did get another glass of wine, and I forgot to mention he also got a bottle of the water at the beginning. Me, personally, I would have probably gone for tap water, but he ended up getting a bottle. I will get into the additional costs momentarily. Now, as for the show is kind of going on all around you. So it's a very intimate setting. Like I mentioned, I think there's only 50 or so people in this little theater area. What I did like is the interaction with the performers. So, while you're waiting between courses, between courses, the show would actually take place. It would be 2 or 3 acts. You'd see everything from, bubbles to dance numbers to singing or acrobatics and things like that. Very impressive stuff. Typical of the Spiegelworld type variety show. Your server does come around as well. Will offer you, drinks throughout if you like. I will also say I did find our server himself to be maybe a little on the encouraging side. Did quite often seem to try and push the drinks and things like that on us, which I didn't really love. I mentioned drinks are not cheap. We've already spent over $300 just to see the show and obviously have the meal and everything. So I thought that his style was a little on the pushier side, but he was very attentive. We'll spin it that way. Very attentive, very encouraging. Now, where I will also say this differed a little bit from the typical kind of Spiegelworld environment, I found it was less, don't get me wrong, there was still some raunchiness to it, and there was still some comedy to it for sure, but based on some of the other shows we've seen, like Atomic Saloon, Absinthe, for example, even, we go to New Jersey sometimes, we go to Atlantic City, and there's another show there called The Hook. Again, it's usually a lot more comedic and raunchy and sort of over the top. I found this to be a little less so. I found the performers themselves, while talented, to maybe not have the same kind of really out there personalities that I'm kind of used to at a Spiegelworld environment. The host was fantastic. We've actually seen her in the restaurant before. She, when it was just the Superfrico restaurant, she used to come around and, chat with you and stuff. But I don't know. I just found it to be, I guess, just a little bit different from the typical Spiegelworld environment. Now, maybe because the show is still kind of fresh. It's only been out for a couple months. Maybe it's still kind of getting its groove and kind of figuring things out. And of course, obviously, assuming it's going to be like any other Spiegelworld show, the acts will change depending on what day you see it, who's there that night, things like that. So something else to keep in mind. But like I said, they were all talented in their own ways. I just found it to be a little different from the norm for a Spiegelworld type show. I will say a standout for me was obviously the host was, fantastic, great singer, great personality, kind of worked the room, came and sat with us for a minute, chatted with us. Really great performer. The drag queen clown, or sorry, the drag queen cow was probably one of my favorites as well. Super funny. There's probably a bit of a splash zone, just to warn you in advance, but yeah, super funny. Really got a few laughs out of us for sure. That was probably one of the standouts for me. But again, the dancing, the bubbles, all the other acts we saw were still phenomenal. Now, again, going back to my gripe, I would say, the drinks are not cheap, as mentioned. And, we both got one cocktail each. Cody got a glass of wine, and then we had that bottle of water. So on top of already spending the $300 plus, tax and tip to see the show and to have that 3-course meal, our bill ended up coming to an additional $100 or so just for the the 2 cocktails, the wine and the water. So I would say either be prepared to spend, or maybe try to avoid getting drinks when you're in there if you are kind of concerned about spending the additional money. Now, here's the thing. Is it worth it? I'm going to still say yes. $150 up front sounds like a lot of money. I will admit, when we were booking it, we kind of were both like, ooh, that's a lot, especially as we're from Toronto. When you do the conversion in Canada, I think our dollar is like 1.4 or something like that. So it's a lot. It's a lot. But what I will say is, when you come to Vegas, on average for a show, you're probably going to spend around $100 on a ticket. For a decent meal in Las Vegas, you're probably going to spend around $100 or so. So in the grand scheme of things, $150 for a 3-course meal, which was quality food. Superfrico's food has always been quality as far as we're concerned. We've eaten there a few times, always enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, obviously you're dealing with a smaller menu. But the selection, I think, kind of appealed to, I don't eat meat, Cody does, so we both were able to find things that we liked easily and both enjoyed what we ate. So yeah, definitely dealing with quality in terms of the type of food you're getting. So I would still say that this overall is worth the price of admission. Just again, be prepared that it is an upfront cost that you will be charged upfront for, including the 18% tip and all that stuff. And then, of course, anything additional that you do have there will come at an additional charge, i.e. cocktails, bottled water, etc. Would I go again, I guess, is maybe the next question I would ask. That's a good question. If it was just Cody and I, and, maybe if we had nothing going on, I'd consider it. But I would say it's more so something that I'd want to maybe take people to. Like, if we brought a couple friends to Vegas, which we've done in the past, and we're looking for a fun night out, and they sort of had the same kind of sense of humor as us, and like the same kind of, food and things like us, I would say it's something that we would definitely consider bringing them to, obviously with the caveat that this is, not going to be a cheap evening, but it's still going to be, I think the value is still there. Now, I am interested to see sort of where this show and experience kind of goes from here. Obviously, I'm assuming seasonally the menu may change. Obviously, the acts will change depending on the night of the week. So, like I said, it is something that I would certainly consider checking out again. That being said, there's still a lot of other Spiegelworld experiences that we love and have seen multiple times. And, again, strongly recommend checking out Atomic Saloon, one of our personal favorites. Of course, Absinthe has been on the Strip now for, over 15 years. I don't even remember the amount of time, but it's been a long time since I've been coming to Vegas, at least. So that's obviously a timeless and really, really funny show. Disco show, obviously, next at the Link, another place to consider checking out for a fun night out. And of course, they've got the Diner Ross there as well. So yeah, I love seeing Spiegelworld kind of taking over the Las Vegas Strip. I was sad when Opium closed, but I do like that they've sort of offered another night out and experience. And I think that's what it comes down to with Spiegelworld is you're not just getting a show, you're not just getting a meal, you're getting an entire experience. And that's what I think keeps us coming back to seeing Spiegelworld shows and eating in their restaurants. Anyway, that is probably going to do it. Let me know below if you have seen or attended the party, what your thoughts were based on what you've seen, in this video, or maybe you've heard from other people. If I've missed anything, you guys have any questions or anything, please do not be shy. Leave them below. Helpful to other travelers. They probably have the same questions that you guys have. It's also really helpful for me because any interaction you guys have with my channel, whether you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, it all helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you're not subscribed, I see, please consider subscribing to the channel. Totally free for you. Really helps me keep delivering this free content to you. I've got tons of Vegas content. I will leave link below some of the other Spiegelworld experiences that we've done as well, if you guys are curious to see what else you can get to in the Las Vegas Strip. Once again, stay on spot, right? Viva Las Vegas, Viva Spiegelworld, Viva the party. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.